I know you since we were like 10. Yeah, don't mess it up, talking that shit. Only gonna push me away, that's it. When you say you love me, that made me crazy. Here we go again. Don't go look at me with that look in your eye. You really ain't going nowhere without a fight. You can't be reasoned with them, don't be impolite. I told you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 times. Haven't I made it obvious? Haven't I made it clear? Want me to spell it out for you? F-R-I-N-D-S. Haven't I made it obvious? Haven't I made it clear? Want me to spell it out for you? F-R-I-N-D-S. F-R-I-N-D-S. Have you got no shame? You looking insane, turning up at my door. It's 2 in the morning, the rain is pouring. Haven't we been here before? Don't mess it up, talking that shit. Only gonna push me away, that's it. Have you got no shame? You looking insane. Here we go again. So don't go look at me with that look in your eye. You really ain't going nowhere without a fight. You can't be reasoned with them, don't be impolite. I told you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 times. Haven't I made it obvious? Haven't I made it clear? Want me to spell it out for you? F-R-I-N-D-S. Haven't I made it obvious? Haven't I made it clear? Want me to spell it out for you? F-R-I-N-D-S. F-R-I-N-D-S. F-R-I-E-N-D-S. That's how you spell friends. F-R-I-E-N-D-S. Get that shit inside your head. No, no, yeah, F-R-I-E-N-D-S. We're just friends. So don't go look at me with that look in your eye. You really ain't going nowhere without a fight. You can't be reasoned with them, don't be impolite. I told you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 times. Haven't I made it obvious? Haven't I made it clear? Want me to spell it out for you? F-R-I-N-D-S. Haven't I made it obvious? Haven't I made it clear? Want me to spell it out for you? F-R-I-N-D-S. F-R-I-N-D-S. Ooh, ooh,
Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier, I want you to be happier. When the morning comes and we see what we've become, in the cold light of day we're a flame in the wind, not the fire that we begun. Every argument, every word we can't take back, 'cause with all that has happened I think that we both know the way that the story ends. Then
Hello, testing 1 2 3 1 2 3 testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me now? All right, beautiful people. Let's just get this rock and rolling, okay? This is a little bit different. I got a little bit lazy. Didn't change the title. I know it says live charting. It might even say education on some platforms and whatnot. Um, we will do a little bit of charting in the essence that we're gonna look at the charts and we're gonna talk about it. I wanted to take this time, especially I've been trying to pound this into you all for the last week or two, if not even last couple of months. Obviously we are finished trading in 2023, and we have tomorrow, which will be the last day of 2023, and then Monday be 2021, and then Tuesdays when we start trading and whatnot. But I wanted to one of the main points I wanted to drive into you all was what we're trying to do in 2024, right? We've and now that I'm using YouTube, you can see it visually, and it might make a little bit more sense, it might look more enticing, and it might actually be easier to visualize and whatnot. One of the biggest things is, like, we're talking about consistency, we're talking about the power of one, we're talking about just being more disciplined, and honest, and in reality, really just ending 2024, with a nice positive balance. Excuse me, give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys, was hacking up my lung, just trying to still recover from this cold from Colorado. Pretty much good for now, just still coughing. But like I was saying, yeah, this is gonna be recorded and it'll be on my YouTube channel. So subscribe to it if you haven't. That way you get notifications. I haven't been using it a lot lately, but I do intend to use it a little bit more in 2024. But there's a lot of good old videos on there with charting, with the strat, with my strategy, with different strategies, even FOMC strategy, right? If you went back and looked at it last time, you would have been able to crush FOMC. So even though I'm not pumping out new content on the YouTube as often as some of you may like, there's still a lot of good relevant info on there, especially if a lot of you are asking, like, what is the strat? What would these numbers mean? How do I chart? I literally have a video out there where we break it down, like, step by step by step by step. And actually, that video, we made you all break it down step by step by step, saying we were marking off the highs and lows and the 50% for the monthly, the weekly, dailies, and then we broke it down. But anyway, to circle back around, today's session, not gonna be long, it'll be very quick. But what I wanted to focus on was 2024, right? It's really just trying to end 2024 as a different type of trader. Whether you're profitable or not, that's a different story, right? It doesn't matter. I can give you the best system in the world. I can tell you what to do. And then you still may not be profitable because you are your own person, right? So, so, I've given calls out before, meaning that I called plays, I told people what I'm doing, I told exactly where I'm getting out, and people still end up red, right? Just because, for whatever one reason or another, right? Because, people are greedy, people hesitate, people doubt, etc. Right? It doesn't matter, right? There's, literally, I can pull up my old tweets. Literally, like, there's been numerous days where we talk about just taking this trade and going one direction, and majority of you are winning, right? I would say, like, one of the best days was 97%, but we still have some people are still red. Why we red? Who knows, right? That's the point. So I can't control what you all do, but the point is, at the end of the day, the goal is to change you as a trader in your way you're approaching and your mindset. And your results will really solely depend on you, right? There's no promises that, at the end of 2024, you're going to be some crazy, Warren Buffett or, whoever, whatever furu guru that you guys are idolizing on social media and whatnot. Anyway, Let's just look at the chart. So today's session, what I really want to show you is this, is that if you trade futures, we can make very good money very, very quickly. And it's not hard at all, right? I think a lot of you are not realizing it because you haven't really mapped it out. You haven't done the homework. You haven't, tried crunch numbers and see what you could potentially earn, right? It's always the name of the game is always to see what you could potentially earn in the future versus what you are actually seeing on your screen. So what you see on your screen right now is a chart of NQ futures. This was literally yesterday. This was yesterday. You can see the whole big dump and then the semi recovery. This is on the 5-minute. What only indicator I have on the screen is the clouds, right? I took volume off just so it makes it easier. I don't use many indicators, right? A lot of it is just from visual, looking at the charts, looking at what I can see. So as you progress as a trader, you will use less and less indicators because you don't need them. It gets clouded on your thing. I know a lot of you guys love to put this bullshit fair value gap stuff on it now because that's the new trend and you all try and trade that and whatnot. No problem with that, but like I said, I have the clouds. I trade the strat and I can see the numbers and, I can already see, you already know what's the two down. You can see what the two downs are. You can see the inside bars. You can see the outside bars, etc. and whatnot. But the point what I want to show you is this, that we in 2024 are going to be very consistent when we're trading. We're going to take same size trades every single trade. You're not going to take 3 lots, 1 trade, 5 the next, 1 the next. No. The point is that whatever you're trading will never work if you're trading all these inconsistent sizes. Why? Because maybe the first trade you take, you win. Next trade, you get a little cocky, a little overconfidence. You take it and it's double the size. You'll lose on that one, even though it's not big and you cut it out. But because it's double the size, now whatever, that 10% is really worth 20% of your old trade. So you lose. And then the next one, you get a little scared and you take one and now you maybe hit 20%. But because it was, significantly smaller than your first size, even the 20% of that might only be, 5 or 10% of your first one. So hopefully you finally mathematically, right? That's why we're saying we're going to trade consistently, right? And whatever that size is, that's really dependent on you, right? As a trader, what you can handle mentally and what you can handle, most importantly, financially, right? So anyway, here is what I wanted to show you, what a lot of you are not realizing, right? So on your screen, you're going to see I mapped out a lot of things, like where we could have taken trades and whatnot. And there's a lot of more areas where you could have taken trades. But I wanted to make this very, very simplistic, right? I'm not trying to sit here and look for every possible entry and scalp every little single thing. I'm just looking at for what most of you probably have seen and would have taken or did take, right? So just putting out the most obvious things that we're looking at, right? So this is, let me just put the lines in so we can see where the range is for. Let's see, New York Open was right here. And New York close was obviously right here. The 2 yellow lines, right? 2 lines you see on your screen are the New York trading session, right? Everything before that, it's the London. London closes at 11 U.S. Eastern time. We're not really going to worry about that for the sake of this charting or this video. So we had, like, if you were trading, we already knew there was 2 down, right? Here, and I can show you real quick where the 2 down was going to be. So this way we knew it was going to be 2 down. Okay, now we have that. Where's my other chart now? Excusez-moi. There we go. Bring this back in so we can look at this. It'll make sense later on when I show you all this. Okay, cool. So yellow lines is the New York session. White line, horizontal line is Thursday's low. So that's why, I already told you that we're gonna make a 2 down that day. You all saw that on my tweet. And once we broke this 2 down, we knew that, if it couldn't get back up, it was gonna be a continuation further. So here's the thing, right? A lot of you probably drew this flag out, right? And they broke. What I'm saying is if we knew that this was not going to go back anymore, because the 50% was up here somewhere, right? I always tell you the 50% is good for a pivot point. If it can't get above it, we know that most likely it's going to go to the one direction. If it can't break above it or below, depending on where price is at. If you would have taken this flag or even this trend line break, whatever you want to call it, right? We're not going to get in right away, right? We're waiting for this breakout right here, retest. It retested, failed, and came back down, right? if you were taking this entry right here and you would just play to the next 5-minute candle, I'm not even talking about catching this whole thing down, right? I'm literally just talking about this 5-minute candle. Well, that's 19.75 points, right? Now, if you look at this chart, I already broke it out in terms of like how many ticks per contract for NQ and whatnot, right? If you look at this and you see one contract for NQ would have gotten on that 5-minute candle right here, you can see it. Well, we got you $380. 2 contracts, we got you $760. 3 contracts would have gotten you 11 something, right? Now, if you would have wrote down more, like, the whole thing, if you would have wrote this whole thing down, right? This would have been astronomical, right? What was it, like 141 ticks, right? 141 points times, 4. So you would have made thousands of dollars just on one con. But that's the point, right? A lot of you think that, it's hard to make that kind of money. It's not. That's the point. You could have taken this and we could call it a day, right? Let's say you didn't get on this. You waited for this close. That would have been your confirmation, right? This 5-minute close would have been your confirmation. You could have gotten in here at this 1040 candle. From there to the close of that would have been 30 points, right? And you can see 30 points would have netted you on one contract $600. So there's your $500 a day, right? Just one con, right? Most of you could have wrote that. And then the same thing. There's another breakout here, another flag here, another breakout. You could have gone here, at 11:10, another 28 ticks. Let's say you just missed all this because you just were scared and whatnot. If you trade the strat or you trade the cloud system, maybe you know that when we got to here, somewhere around here, you knew it was going to bounce. Why do we know it was going to bounce? I'm going to do replay mode, and you can see. Watch. When I go here, look where price is in correlation to the clouds, right? Look at this, right? Price is at right here, 16,938. The clouds are at 16,975, right? So we're like 40 points away almost. You know that once it's that far extended from the clouds, it's going to come back up. You could have played that, right? You could have played the bounce for a quick scalp. And look, it came back, eventually came back to 69.778, literally 69.78. We just talked about that, right? So that would have been, again, if we measure this, even if you didn't get in the bottom, you got it right here, 35 points, right? 35 points, again, you look at this chart, $700 for one con, right? So it's not that you need to invest a lot of money, folks, right? And that's the whole point of this, is to show you visually that you do not need a lot of money to make great money in terms of this, right? That's what I'm saying. It's not as difficult as many of you are thinking. I'm just going to play this all out so we have the whole entire chart. There we go. And there's more entries, right? This, let's say you didn't get in here, right? Well, you could have gotten on this, right? Because what this would be technically, traditionally, we would call it double bottom, right? The double bottom, or if you're trading the new way, ICT, whatever you want to call it, then you're going to call it equal lows. What else you can do is that maybe you didn't get in on this bounce, but look, if you're trading the strat, here's the inside bar, right? This is a 3 because they took out the high and took out the low. This is the 1, 3, 1, what? 2, up, right? Even if you would have taken the 2 here and set your stops down here, you still would make good money. Look right here, up to the high, take out this high, is 13 points, right? 13 points right here on one con, $260, 2 cons, $500. Right? So there's a lot of ways to trade this, right? We can say like I said, you want to trade ICT? I can do ICT all day with you. Another one right here, right? This is the falling wedge. Breakout, could have gone up here. Even if you didn't get out here, you could have gone up somewhere on here. 21 points, right? These are not big, crazy, like 50, 80, 100 point movements, but they give you enough movements so that you can scalp it per se and still make good money. And then we have this big rising wedge here. You could have taken another trade, right? That's what I call entry 6. Taking a trade here, breakout, come back, retest, didn't go back in, boom, 30 something points, right? So it's just, I wanted to show you this because I think a lot of you don't realize how little you really need to actually make good money. And that's what this is supposed to show you, right? Oh man, can you even see on your screen? Sorry. Can you see this chart on your screen, the Excel chart, guys? I just want to make sure you guys can see that. It seems like it's lagging. Can somebody let me know if you see the Excel file? the screenshot of it. I'm going to assume you guys can. But anyway, we will go forward. All right, cool. So that this is one of the most important things I want you all to realize, right? Is this? It's just to see this profit chart and see how much you can make with very little movement. A lot of you are like, oh man, this would have been quick. 5-minute candle and I would have been done. Another 5-minute candle, I would have been done. Again, remember, folks, whatever time frame you are on and you're trading, just know when we trade the strat, it's gonna have to complete itself, right? If we're trading the strat and we're looking for a 2-2 continuation, right? On the 5-minute, right? Let's say you like, okay, this was a 2 broke and this came back in and you're like, okay, it's not going back up. I'm gonna look for a 2 down. Well, you need to let it come to fruition, right? You can't just like, oh, I'm gonna trade it on the 1 minute and then every little thing I get scared out. You need to let the time frame that you're trading on actually play out, or else it's not gonna give you what you want. And then in terms of looking at how you would have traded these, look, you could trade the patterns, right? The traditional patterns. If we were trading, if you're trading ICT, you can say, these are equal highs right here, another equal high right here, or they grabbed the, buy side liquidity and then they dumped it. Another thing that we can look at is this, right? If we're trading the strat, I can tell you right now, look, up here on the 5 minutes, we're not really seeing anything, right? The 5 minutes didn't really show me anything here, but let's see, let me change the different time frame. I could change this to the 15 minutes because I trade on multiple time frames. What you guys may be able to see now is this, right? Here's your 2, here's your inside bar, here's your 1. See, it didn't break it, but here's your 2, 1, 2 down, right? That's how you could have known that. And then you would have said, if you would have entered on this, your stop would have been here. And that's just the rules, right? This is where you stick your rules, right? It doesn't matter. If you're like, hey, I'm looking down, another thing, the clouds are bearish, right? You would trade this and say, I'm going 2, 1, 2 down, or whatever side's breaking, I'm going to go down. But market looks like it was bearish, so I'm going to go take bearish side. And if it's wrong, my stop would have been at right here, 17,105.75. So that's where you would have gone in, and you would roll down, and you would look to the left to see where you would be aiming to take out, right? You'd be taking out these lows over here, and then so on. That's how you walk it down. So that would have been on the 15 minutes, right? If you were on the, let's see, hold on, the 30 minutes, it's the same thing, right? We can go to 30 minutes. So this is your 30 minutes now, right? So this is your 3. Look, let me see if I can get rid of this. That makes it easier and get rid of that. So here's your 3, outside bar. Took out the high, took out the low, inside bar. And then this is your 3, 1, 2 combo, right? You would enter on the, either at the 50% of the 1 or the low of the 1, stop at the high of the 3, right? You would have aimed for every single low. The low of this 3, this low, and then you would just keep going across. That's how we trade the strat. We just keep going for every single low. For you guys that like to trade ICT, you're looking for liquidity. This is sell side liquidity, right? Or stop hunting, whatever you want to call it. And you keep going. Eventually you go down here, right? So, just off this right here, we had so many different ways to trade this by looking at, different time frames, right? I showed you the 15, I showed you the 30, right? Just so there's just different ways to look at it, right? We can even look at, if we look at the 90, we can say, look, here's our 2 down, 2 up. Now we're looking for 2, 2, 2, right? 2, 2, 2 down, right? That's on the 90. If we're same thing with the 1 hour, right? This is your 2, 2, 2, and then 2 down. The 65 minutes, same thing. 2 down, 2 up, 2 down. So many different ways. Sorry, I'm just looking. Let me see. Am I sticking with ES? I'm just primarily stick with ES. I'll probably dabble into NQ as well. I'm not gonna shy away from it. Just because, this week was very odd in terms of the way the market reacted, right? ES, SPY and the rest of the market were going up, and NQ and triple Q were going down, which was the divergence was kind of odd. I mean, I haven't seen it while I was live trading it because in the past I used to focus primarily on SPY and ES, but then looking at NQ was a little odd to see that divergence play out like that. But I will probably stick with ES just because the movements are a little bit cleaner and smoother for me. The volatility with NQ is very, very volatile. So you almost can't play around the open, and you can't really trade the news events. I know some of you say you can, and you can. And the problem is what I've noticed that you literally have to go very, very light, or you will risk a higher probability of getting liquidated and whatnot, just because the movement in one NQ candle is enough to cause volatility, right? You can see here, one NQ contract, 40 something points, and you're already almost at $1,000 in the deficit, against you, or you can be in positive. So, but with ES, at least it's a little bit more forgiving, gives you time to let the market, come to fruition. And it just, for me, it's about consistency, and it's about longevity of it and whatnot. I'm just reading the comments. But folks, this is pretty much it for this live charting session. I really wanted to show you that there's a lot of ways that you can trade this and make good money without really sitting there having to stress that you need to take every single trade, or you need to go heavy on every single trade. I literally showed you one contract on all these entries I showed you. If you would just let it play out and come to fruition, you would make good money, several $100s a day, right? Even if you and that's only taking one trade per day, right? Let's say you take maybe 1 to 3 trades. I know a lot of you take more than one trade. So if you're able to take 1 to 3 trades and let it actually play out, you can make good money. Because at the end of the day, even if you take one NQ contract, if it goes wrong against you initially, but you still have the vision that it's going to go in that direction, you just got to let it breathe. Let it breathe and play by the rules, right? I showed you the strat. These are still the old strat lines right here that's saying like, this is where my stops would have been if I took the short. And if it hits that, then I'm wrong. That's just the rules. That's just how the strat works. If we're taking a number combination, like we're looking for a 2-1-2 down, our stop is going to be at the high of the previous 2. Or if you want a higher stop, it's going to be at the high of the 1, right? And if we're looking for the 2-2 continuation, our stop is going to be maybe at the 50% of the previous 2, or at the low of the previous 2, right? If we're looking at a 2-2 reversal, then it's the same thing. 3-1-2, 3-2-2, doesn't matter, right? Whatever combination you're trading, the rule is that, we are going to, stop out where the previous candles are, unless you want to use a particular zone. But then that ties into risk and reward and what you're getting out of it, right? Are we at like up here? If we're up here and we're looking to target someone down here, and our stops could be up here, well, this might be a 2-1, right? But if you're looking for, maybe you were looking for a long to go up, you were long right here, and then you were looking up here, but then your stop would have been, down here. That'd be terrible risk to reward, right? So it's a matter of having a system and a plan to play with to take the trade. I'm done with the charts. I'm just going to read your comments and answer your questions. But this was to show you a visual that, hey, guys and girls, especially for us future traders, in 2024, it's not that hard to make consistent money. And one more chart. Let me start. I apologize. I want to throw one more chart out there before I talk about anything else, just so that we are all on the same page. Give me 1 second. This is the most important thing, right? I've talked about this to death. As we say in the U.S., it's like beating a dead horse over and over and over. I can vouch that no animals were hurt in the process of making this video. But what you'll see on your screen shortly, it looks like it's lagging on my side, is that you're going to see the daily profits, right? $50 a day gets you $12,500. $100 a day gets you $25,000. $250 a day gets you $600 or $62,050, right? The point is this. I took a poll yesterday. I said, how did you guys all end the year, right? And it was a 50-50 split pretty much, right? Pretty much 50% of people said ended red, 50% of people said ended green, right? That is unfortunately realistic, but again, unfortunately terrible, right? The goal is to end it positive. And if you look at this and you look at the $50 a day, you all are probably sitting there laughing, especially as prop firm traders. You're probably laughing there because you're like, I make $50 easily. The point is you don't take it, or you do take it and you're not happy with it and you keep going back for more and you end up losing, right? But if you were able to make $50 a day, you can make $12,500 a year, right? Right? That's a lot better than 50% of the people that did the polls yesterday, right? Because they ended it with some negative number. That's the whole point. That's what we're trying to get to, is that not to disacknowledge the fact that $50 a day is not good money, right? Because at the end of the day, for those that voted red, I'm positive if I wrote you a blank check for $12,500 right now, you would take it happily, right? You would actually be happy with break even instead of losing whatever you lost. So that's the point. And I just showed you on this chart, 19 points will get you more than $50, right? 19 points, if you look at this, will get you $300 plus, right? $300 plus will get you over $62,000 a year. And you're like, and you guys are sitting there like, holy shit, that's not hard to do. I can do that very easily. The goal is not to become a millionaire in 1 year. Well, I shouldn't say that. If you do, congrats, I'm happy for you. But I will be the bearer of reality, and not to bring you down. I just want to bring you to reality and ground you and say that 99% of you are not going to make $1 million next year. You're just not. You're not there yet. Doesn't mean you won't get there. You're not there yet. And the thing is, you have to give yourself the time and the patience. And you will get there, right? Let's say you do $50. I know everybody here can do $50 a day. I know that, especially if you're a prop firm trader. You can do $50 a day, right? You definitely, most certainly, you do $100 a day. At this point, if you're a prop firm trader, you're at least making easily between the $100 to $1,000 a day, right? Depending on the prop account size you're trading, right? For those trading $50,000 accounts, yeah, it might be a little bit harder for the 1K a day because you have a tighter liquidation limit. So you might be between the $100 to $250 a day. And that's still not hard, right? As long as you're not greedy. When you're greedy, you try to size up and try to make that very quickly, meaning within 1 point or 8 ticks, because you're impatient, you want to see that number, green number go up really quickly on your screen. That's where you guys all get burned. That's the reality of it. If you would just take one or singles or twos, it will add up. I showed you my things. I've recorded videos. I took screenshots. It's not very hard to make that when you take 1 to 3 contracts, because it's so small. You can sit through a lot of BS chops. Even the days when we have price targets and this thing drops or goes in the other direction for 10, 20, 30 points, and then eventually comes back and reverses and then goes in another direction, and then even more, you might be down a few $100s, and then eventually you get your $1,000 out of it. So just keep this in mind, right? The goal is to be ending 2024 positive, but how you end up positive is by changing the way you trade, changing the way you approach the market, and changing the way you tackle the market. Again, this whole thing is a visual just so you all see, because a lot of you don't see this. A lot of you are just literally just, let me hit the buy, let me hit the sell, and then you just watch the numbers, on your screen down here go up and down, and then you sell out, but you don't realize what it can really add up to at the end of 1 year. So that's the most important thing out of it. But anyway, I'm done with this screen, but let me just see your comments and I'll answer it one by one. Sorry, Vicky, the numbers and text are not clear. I'm not sure if it's, maybe the resolution on your side is not good. I see it on my side. There's nothing else I can do. The stream is on, I think, 720p or 1080p. Let's see. I feel like I will stick with scalps on NQ. Yeah, no, the bull, that's a very good thing. I said that before as well. I feel like NQ is good for scalping because of how quickly and how volatile it moves. And ES is more for a longer term hold. So I concur with you on that. And people may disagree, but that's just how I personally feel. Just because with NQ, it moves, one candle moves very, very quickly. You can see these 5-minute candles. The smallest 5-minute candle that I pointed out, when it actually moved on the screen, you can see it was like almost 20 points. And the largest one was, let me see, looks like it was like 30, 35 points, right? So, and that is a lot, right? You can see that already, 35 points on NQ for one is like, $500, $600, $700. So I agree. That's kind of my plan, is that I'm going to use NQ for more scalping and ES for more of a long hold. So if I'm taking anything in Asia and London, I'm going to hold into New York Open, most likely to be ES. And if I'm going to sit through econ data events at 8:30 US Eastern time, probably going to be ES. So that's just how I'm going to look at it. Let me see. I'm just reading through your comments real quick. Apologize. Let me just read the rest and I'll address it. And you guys and girls can keep typing in comments. I'll stick around and answer anything I can. Hold on a minute. Let me just read your comments. Hey, no, the boss just see it. What indicator? Varun, Varan, bonsai. What do you mean? What indicator? Oh, the cloud thing. Oh, it's called Satty's pivot ribbon. SATY pivot ribbon. I'll type it in there for you. It's no different than EMA clouds, right? Or EMA lines, right? It's the 8, 21, and 34 EMA lines. But instead, it just shows you this. It just shows you a graphical representation of it. Oh, cool. Thanks, the bull. You already answered it. Cool. Sorry, I'm just catching up. Jenkins. No, I use minis. I don't do micros. I do not do micros. But if you're starting new, micros is not a bad place to start. One benefit of taking micros versus minis is that you can get, because micros are like 1/10 of what one mini is worth. So you can literally take 10 micros and compared to one mini. And the benefit is that you can scale out, right? That means you can, as price goes in the direction that you're seeing, you can set different scale out limits. So instead of, waiting for price to go to one particular target and then get sold out or closed out, you can set, trailing targets basically that you want. That way you don't have to sit there like, oh man, it's up here. Do I exit? Do I not exit? So that would be one of the major benefits of taking micros versus minis, especially if you are a newer trader and if you're just new to futures trading and whatnot. Let's see. Cool. Thanks, Ball. I'm sorry. Like, you guys already answered these questions. That's what the beauty of this community is. You guys are all answering your own questions for you. Let's see. Hey, preacher. Full time. I've been in this game over a decade, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Is there a certain time limit you're looking for to give you more confidence that if I trade longer, less? But I've been trading since pretty much the .com bubble era. Really got into it when the financial market crashed in 08 and 09. So not sure if that answers your question if you're looking for more. Let's see. So yeah, look, there's no more comments. If you have anything, ask me. This is your chance. Other than that, we can do this, right? Now that this is over, so look, let's just, if we're mapping out, I always do this, right? This is how I start my charting, right? Just gonna do this very quickly. Here's the month high, month low. Always start with the higher time frame. Month high. Month low, because I'm lazy. I don't want to type all that text out. Use what I just put on the screen is called the Fibonacci tool. That gives me my 50%. 1644325. And yes, I used the entire candle, not just the wick, or not the body, but the entire candle. I know a lot of people traditionally only use the body, and now they started swapping. I've been telling you this from day one. I used the entire candle. So the month high and the week high are the same. So we're going to say month and week high. I wouldn't be surprised if the daily high is the same as well. Let's see. Actually, no. Friday, daily's not. Keep saying. Apologize about it. Daily was actually lower this week. So this is what I am doing when I chart. Yes, there's indicators out there that you can use to give you all this information, the high, lows, and whatnot. But for me, it's a mechanical routine. There's not a lot. I don't think there's indicators out there that will give you the 50% very cleanly, meaning that you have to go back and either put another indicator on there and whatnot. For me, I like to just do it manually so that I can see, and plus that way I can put my own numbers in there, because I don't like the line. A raw line by itself doesn't give me, for some reason it just messes with my mind. So it's easier for me just to do, type it all out. And you can see it doesn't take me long, right? I've gone to the point where this is very quick, mechanical. So this is what I do, right? That's why you will see all these on my charts every single time. So this is the live chart, literally live chart right now. So those are the three major ones we map out all the time. I'll turn off the cloud so you can see it, right? Month high and week high are the same. Got the daily high, the daily 50%, weekly 50%, daily low, week low, month 50%. So those are the three things I look at in terms of, sorry about that, my mic fell. In terms of, the highs and lows, and it's all gonna be the previous, candle, right? So if we're looking the daily, it's Fridays. If we're looking at week, it's last week. If we look at the month, it's gonna be December's versus, the current one. Let's see, what else? Let me see. Sorry, you've been seeing. Yeah, so when people say full time, I trade full time in the sense that I trade. I don't trade full time as if it's not my full time job, a source of income. I want to clarify that. A lot of people, I make it seem like I'm a full time trader because of how often I'm tweeting and whatnot. But in reality, that's really for you guys. A lot of those I talk to on an individual basis know that I'm done. I like Friday, I was done. I showed you when I was done, right? I showed you my profit. I'm like, I'm done. Half the time when I come back, I would say 90% of the time when I come back during the day, it's for you guys. Because I know in some shape or form, you're all sitting there hoping for something from me, meaning that either a play, an idea, or some kind of analysis on what the market's going to do so that you can get to play yourself. So half the time I come back, it's really just because I know somebody out there is hoping for something. And I if I see something, I'll point it out. So, but I don't trade full time as if it was my full source income. And I've said this before. Why do it when I don't need to, right? I have a job that allows me to trade during my regular work hours, and it's an additional source of income, right? So, as you can see, we don't need to sit around all day. Within the first hour, we could have made 3 or 4 good trades for several $100s, if not several $1,000s, depending on your mental fortitude and whatnot. So I would that's just kind of my comment on that. But look, man, just because you've been trained for a certain amount of time doesn't mean that you're a great trader or a bad trader, right? Some people can sit here for 20 years and suck at trading. Some people can sit here trading 6 months and be the next Warren Buffett. It really depends on what you put into it and what you try to get out of it, right? That's why I don't want people. I've always been the person trying to show you all and teach you all how to do it versus giving you calls and puts and whatnot. When I first came on here, that's what I used to do. And I can call shots all day. It's not hard to do. I do it in a different way, right? I'm telling you what I'm looking at, what direction I'm going, and where my price targets are, right? That's harder to do than telling you to take a long or short, right? Because I'm telling you where we're gonna go versus up or down. So just you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. For most of you, you have to put in work. That's just the way it is. Sorry, let me just read the comments. Yeah, analysis paralysis is a real thing. You're absolutely right. Yeah, the pivots. Excuse me. The pivots is a mathematical formula, right? You have to take the open, the open, the close of several sessions, and then you got to take. You have to consider in the three different markets. The Asian, the London, and then the New York thing. It's not. I like I said. I promised you in 2024 we will touch upon that. But it's not a quick process. That's why, because a lot of people are like, oh, I can do pivots, but you'll notice that my pivots are totally different than what you probably seeing on your screen. And for the most part, they are pretty much spot on, right? They give you a good pivot zone to work with. And those who've been following me long enough have seen it and utilized it. That's probably the biggest thing that differentiates me from the rest and whatnot. But yeah, I know everybody's waiting for the pivots and whatnot. So it will come. It will come. We'll get there. Don't worry, folks. I know. Yeah, no, preacher, that's good, man. Look, I have no problem with people doing call outs, because sometimes people just don't have the time of day to sit there and really learn it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's no different than you giving your money to a hedge fund manager and letting them manage your money, right? It's the same thing, literally, right? The difference is that maybe these hedge fund managers are a little bit more qualified because they went to higher institutional education for it, or they got certifications for it, versus some of us that are traders, because are individual traders, and then we have experience and we try to use that as a way to help others people's out. So there's nothing from call outs, but again, like I said, you don't learn. Like everybody that's been following me in the nation, they have vastly improved upon the training. And the reason why is because I force you all to learn. Like if you were to come 12 months ago in order to get my analysis for next day, I made you guys all chart and show me this. And I literally did what I did today, right? I'm telling you guys, hey, look at the chart, tell me what you see, where we're at, what are you envisioning? I can tell you right now because we map this out. Next thing we do is we look for patterns, right? So if we go back and chart and I like to look for patterns and also identify the market structure, right? What's the market structure right now? We obviously know it's bullish, right? You can see this is certainly bullish, right? Lower or higher high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, or higher high, right? So the structure is obviously bullish, right? So we know that, right? That's giving our probability. Now, if we just move the lines and we go to the 1 week, if you trade the cloud system, you can see that, look, we have an inverted hammer at the peak and we're overextended from the clouds, right? You all heard me say this before. Once we're overextended, we always come back. So NQ is overextended by 500 points on a weekly time frame. Do I think it's going to dip down to this next week? No, I don't. I think we're going to probably see a little bit of a dip maybe. And then in the next week or two, or even the month of January, you're going to see them attempt to take out all-time highs on SPY. And once we do that, then I think we're going to go down. That's what I'm seeing, right? Because at this point, it's price discovery mode, right? There's no other liquidity if we look at SPY to take out, right? Once it takes out, this is SPY. Once it takes out the high of, 2022 at 479.98, there is no supply up here. There's no liquidity up here. Now it's just people pushing price up here and eventually creating liquidity by trapping people, thinking the market is going to keep going up and then dumping it. And then all the people that went, long here are stuck holding and waiting for the market to come back up. And then all the short sides are going to take out all these stops down here and then eventually just get pushed back up. So that's how price works, right? It can't just keep going up. Just kind of like what happened back in past. People just say, oh, it's going up. And then what happened, right? Hit all-time highs, and then it just dumped. So, that's just how the market works. Up, down, right? Let's see. Yeah, no, that's all I got, folks. If you have, I literally just showed you on high level of charting, right? That's, we map out. Oh man, sorry. We just map out our, our levels. Sorry, I'm just trying to get all the stuff we did. We map out our levels or our targets. And then I like to draw lines and see where we're at, right? You can see this trend line. We might hit this, so that means we might hit that week low, which is around like, you can see the trend line depending on what day we hit it. It could be the week low or it could be the daily low, 50%, depending when. If Monday, we might come down a little bit. Tuesday back up. Wednesday, or not Monday. Tuesday down a little bit. Wednesday back up. Maybe Thursday test this line, fail, and then go back up, right? So just kind of things to look at. If we look at the weekly basis, we have, this, this is our cup, right? Or, this, or it could be the handle, right? Cup right here, handle shoot up. So it already broke it on NQ. So just looking at certain things, right? But that is, yeah, no, you're right, Life. That's exactly, I didn't even see your comment. Exactly like a cup and handle. And you know what? I'll just put this out there. You're going to have a lot of people try to discredit the way you trade and whatnot. Block out the noise, right? I've shown people my way of trading. It doesn't exactly fit in the model of a lot of people. It doesn't fit in the new wave, the new wave of ICT and whatnot. I know. So, but I've proven time and time again that the stuff I do isn't by luck, right? I've shown you what, on Friday, I gave you 8 tickers. I told you exactly what they're all going to do. Every single ticker I hit, I told you it was either going to be a 2 down or 2 up, and what ticker. It wasn't just by luck. Every single ticker I called out hit, right? So it's because of the way I trade, the way I look at it, the way I analyze data, the way I see it. So, but yeah, I don't have anything else, guys and girls. If you have something, ask now. If not, look, Saturday night, 5:18 here in York. So, wherever that correlates to your time, enjoy your time. If we don't talk before the New Year's, Happy New Year's. I hope that we all can stick to the rules in 2024, right? Like I said, most important thing is going to be this. I want to put this up there one more time so that we can see it all together. This is going to be the key focal point, right, boys and girls? And don't let anybody tell you that making $100 a day is, pennies, and that's, for poor people, not good money, right? Because, if they say that, then you should go to them and ask them to write you a blank check for $25,000 and see if they'll give it to you. Well, 1, see if they give it to you, and 2, see if they even have that they can afford to give it to you. If they can't, you just tell them STFU, okay? Because once we do this, it all adds up, right? Even if you get $100 a day on futures, $500 at the end of the week is $2,000 at the end of the month, right? $2,000 into your bank account every single month is good money that a lot of you can use and whatnot. And the best part is this. If you're making $100 a day, you should be able to pass all the prop firms that you are taking. The 50Ks, I don't know what the profit targets are. I think they're either 2,000 or 3,000, right? So then what? It takes you a month and a half to pass it. You have 10.5 months left in the year to trade to make another $100 a day. So that, if you lose, even if you lose, 6 weeks of trading, you're still going to make $20,000 on top of it, right? Payouts. So that's what I'm saying. And then you're like, oh, I still got to pay for the monthly subscription, whatever, right? That monthly subscription, let's just say it ends up being $2,000 for the whole entire year, right? I know that's a little bit more than it actually is, but then, so what? Now you're still making $20,000 a year in payouts, right? And I can assure you, by the time you finish 2024 and you stick to the rules and you're disciplined, even if you're trading consistently, meaning that you're trading the same size, it's not going to be $100 anymore. And the reason why is because you have trained your mind, and your body to see how price is going to move. You have built your system. You're confident, and this one contract is going to be more than $100. Now you can sit in there longer. You're like, I know what price is going to do. I can see exactly what it's going to do, and it's going to turn into $200, maybe $300, or even so more. Right? So just keep that in mind. But anyway, look, guys and girls, this video is recorded. It will be up. Again, subscribe to YouTube. Go back. There's a lot of videos out there. Like, this session has already gone on for over an hour, right? Almost an hour, 50-something minutes. A lot of things we do here are hours and hours and hours, right? I know it's long and lengthy, but again, put in that work and you'll get there, right? A lot of you who have come to me, I can point people out. There's people out here, one of the best things I got in 2023. I will not call him a student. I'll just call him a fellow member of the nation. Larry said this, not exact quotes, but pretty close. He's like, hey, I don't need your help anymore. I've learned enough from this community. I'm here now just for the community aspect of it, right? That's the best thing I can hear, because that means I've done my job. That means I've taught this person and taught people how to do it on their own, right? I know you'll probably have a lot of people on Twitter or X or Discord saying, oh man, I want to teach you how to fish. Reality is, do they teach you how to fish? I don't think so. Most of these Discords and Twitter accounts are still really giving you the long and the short and whatnot. They're not showing you how. They're not showing you, look, it's overextended. We know that we can play it. Oh, we have a 2-1-2 here, or the momentum's down. The structure's this. Where the highs and lows, what's it going to do when it reacts, right? I can tell you that. I know that for a fact, because I talk to some of these people that you guys all follow. So again, 2024, we have 2 days left, folks. Be prepared. We're not going to screw around. We're going to make our money, and we're going to get out and call it a day, right? I don't mind making $62,000 a year for 10 minutes worth of work and then have the rest of the 8 hours to myself. So enjoy your weekend. Happy Saturday to you. Happy New Year's to everybody. Thank you again for joining us on Saturday, and enjoy. I will talk to you later. Thanks. Love you guys. Bye.